In this video, we're going to deal with some issues that might arise as you're slicing your item. So as you can see here, I brought over my keychain and the words didn't show up. When I was in Tinkercad, they were there. See, the letters are there, but when I export it and then import it into Kirimodo and slice it, the words are gone. So what happened? Even though you can see it in Tinkercad, the words have to be raised up enough or lowered down enough if you're going to engrave so that the 3D printer can recognize it. All right, so I'm going to change the height of my words to make sure that it will show up on the 3D printer. So first I'm going to select my keychain and I'm going to ungroup it. Then I'm going to select my letters and I'm going to make sure that it's at least 0.05 inches above the keychain. We want to keep in mind this is the overall height. So if we raise it up, all right, we want it sitting on the top of the keychain. All right, that looks good. All right, that should work a lot better. And we will just regroup it. And now that we've made a change, we will have to export this again and then import it back into Kirimodo. All right, I'm going to delete this one and then import the other one. All right, I clicked on File and then Import. All right, let's slice this and see what happens. All right, much better. All right, let's look at another scenario. I have my keychain, and when I went to support and hit detect, I see a bunch of squares here for support. So something is going on underneath my keychain, and I see a paw print there. So remember, we don't want any support. So let's go back to Tinkercad and see if we can find out what happened. All right, so I'm back into Tinkercad. Let me look underneath my coin. Oh, that paw print went all the way through and it shouldn't do that. So I need to make sure it's completely flat on the bottom. Let me fix it. So I'm going to select it, ungroup it, and then I will take the paw print and raise it up to make sure it is going to be flat on the bottom. All right, let me regroup it again. All right, that looks much better. So I am going to re-export this and then re-import it into Kirimodo. So I'm going to delete this one and import the other one. So I'm going to click on Files and then Import. All right, and this time when I do detect support, there is no support needed. So when I slice it, all right, it looks good. And then detect. All right, good. No support needed. That's awesome. All right, this keychain has a couple of issues. The first issue is the hole. It wasn't closed in all the way when I sliced it. It was enclosed on Tinkercad, but it's not here. So we need to figure out what's going on. And another thing, the paw print isn't showing up. It was showing up in Tinkercad, so let's see what's going on. All right. When you're in Tinkercad, if you click on Export, I noticed that I have a selected shape only and not everything in the design. So maybe I didn't have it grouped all the way. So there was something not transported over to Kirimodo. So make sure that you have everything in the design clicked, and that will probably take care of the paw print. So let's see what's going on with the hole. It's enclosed, but it's way too close to the edge. Let's move it back and see if that helps. Okay, I moved it back a little bit. I'm going to regroup everything. I'm going to make sure everything is grouped together. And then when I click export, I'm going to make sure everything in the design is clicked and then click on STL. All right, back in Kirimodo. Going to delete this one and then File and then click Import and import my new one. All right, hit Slice and it looks much better. All right, I'm back with one more common issue. Again, when we click on Support and Detect, I see that there's a bunch of blocks put underneath my words. Everything looked fine in Tinkercad, but now it's giving me this. So let me go back and see what's going on. Okay, when I'm here, everything looks fine, but let me rotate this a little bit and zoom in. And look, the words are floating above my keychain. That will not print correctly. Either it will fail altogether or the words won't print at all. So we have to make sure that the words are attached to the keychain. So let me ungroup this and take the words using this cone or triangle shape and lower it down. All right. And we want to make sure that the words are in contact with the base shape. All right. Now we're going to regroup it. We're going to export this and then import it back in Kirimoto and see if that helps. All right. So we're going to delete this one and then files and click import to import the one we changed. All right. We're going to slice. It looks good. We're going to hit support and then detect. All right, no support is detected. Flat on the bottom, hole is there, letters are raised. Looks great. All right, if you run into any issues, hopefully this is giving you some help on how to troubleshoot. Thanks for watching.